So one of the things that I have been noticing going on is that in the middle of all of the chaos and the challenging energy and the roller coaster ride that we're on, I am beginning to notice a pattern. And this is a pattern that I want to begin to point out. And I want to ask all of you to be watching for this as a pattern, because I believe this is not only a little bit of a trend now, I believe this is what Pluto is beginning to bring through for us. Remember, Pluto is the rewriter. Pluto is the death, destruction, clearing things out, like, a bowling ball coming through and knocking out all of those pins. And then Pluto brings through the rebirth portion, the restructuring portion. And in Aquarius, this is all connected into community, grassroots, humanitarianism, connected into technology, consciousness, the feminine. And so I am actually beginning to see some of that Pluto Aquarian in action in community. And I want to point out specific instances so we can all be paying attention to this. And it's kind of like, people getting ideas and getting ideas off of ideas and being tuned into the direction that we're headed. So I've had quite a few people in my comment section also ask, it's like, well, Dana, stuff comes down, like that's anarchy. And it's like, no, not with you see with what's going on. So let me go ahead and point out some specific instances. Here are like my top 5 or 6 that I want to share with you for this week. The first one that really caught my eye was a bookstore, and I'll try and look up what town this is in, but a bookstore was moving from the location it was in around the corner to a new location. And instead of hiring a moving company and doing all the thing of putting the books in the boxes and the hauling and all of that, you know what they did? They called on community, and community showed up and made a human chain from where the old bookstore was at to where the new bookstore was at, and just handed books down the line. Problem solved. Like, that is a great instance of grassroots community humanitarianism to keep a local bookstore alive, moving from one location to another without having to create a whole bunch of labor or have to spend a whole lot of moving money. So that's number 1. Number 2, I love this one. So we are all so aware of how much our groceries are costing right now and how hard that is, and how many people are like going without and not having enough money to purchase groceries. Well, I ran across this gentleman, this TikTok. I will make sure that his name, who he is, his handle, you can go look him up. But basically, he's in the food distribution system, and he basically came out and said, I cannot name prices or I will get sued up the wazoo. But he said, I'm in the food distribution system, and my company, the company that I work for that does the distribution, I see the food that comes in and what the price is, what the cost and the price is, and then I see what they are charging on the shelf. And he's like, folks, leave out the grocery stores, start getting together as a collective, and people in my situation, the middleman, that distribution arm, you can contract with us for cost, and then people can purchase at cost. Folks, that's Pluto, grassroots, collective, humanitarianism, knocking out corporate grocery store chains. All right. That's my number 2. Number 3, and we see this happening because of the tariffs. If you're on TikTok, you're already seeing it. If you are not on TikTok, what you need to know is that after the whole tariff thing has gone down, China manufacturers have basically gone, oh, so that's how you want to play it? And what they are doing is they are opening up their book and saying, hey, America, you can purchase directly from us without the tariff, cut out the middleman, and we will sell for you for so much less. And so now there's beginning to be a big wave, collective, grassroots, going direct to China for purchasing direct through China. That's happening in real time right now. And what we're seeing is how much corporations are overcharging for us. That's my number 3. Number 4 is, of course, Skylight, Mark Cuban coming out and saying, hey, if we could get a grassroots effort for social media so we can kickstart social media for people on the ground, let's do that. That's Skylight for you. That's taking off. This next one, get a load of this. This is content creator, The People Us. She's on TikTok, and she basically campaigned to get a whole bunch of people on her TikTok. She's got 25,000 followers, and with those 25,000 followers, she is getting the attention of her House of Representatives rep in Virginia's 10th district, Representative, I'm sorry, I can't say his name right, Representative Subramanya. You'll see the name. So essentially, she got a collective on TikTok, Grassroots collective on TikTok, and then she went to a representative and said, hey, I've got the ear of 25,000 of your constituents. Will you give me a sit down? And he's been saying yes. And so she literally has gotten into the door of her representative, Virginia's 10th district, to have conversations, listening on the ground with her people on TikTok to get a grassroots conversation going with her representative. So, folks, these are all examples of the direction that I believe we're headed. And I think things like this can happen in education, in finance, in medicine, in so many other areas. Like, I have even heard of doctors or medical collectives beginning to happen that are cutting out the insurance companies. So this is already moving. It's already moving forward. And so we need to have our ear to the ground, paying attention, seeing what is working, what is not working, and then being connected into the ones that we really feel like are our soul-based, heart-based kind of thing. And if enough of us are doing this, all of a sudden we begin to recreate our social structure with money and business and how we function as communities in a whole different kind of way. Like, I can't stop thinking about all the teachers who have gotten fired for no reason. Like, I watched a TikTok of an elite, top of the line teacher in her district, done some amazing things in her school district, and she got fired. No reason whatsoever. It had to do with all the, Doge funding cuts kind of things. Can you imagine all of those teachers getting together and creating collectives? And can you imagine, our tax dollars being rerouted so we could pay teachers in a new way at the state level? I mean, if this got restructured enough, we could begin to pay teachers eventually like I'm going to dream big. Let's think about paying teachers like 6 figures, $100,000 for a teacher to teach in a school district. Imagine that. Imagine if our federal tax dollars were being rerouted to the state level and we could actually pay teachers their worth. Like, this is the kind of thinking we need to come up with, because as we're seeing things crumble and we're going, oh, and the fear, we need to be creative and think about, okay, think like Pluto. Pluto's knocking it out in one direction, but how is Pluto going to hand this back to us as a collective? And here's case in point. Any of you follow Hope? I think her name's Hope Peddler. Here, let me read this one. Yeah, so this is Hope_Peddler. She's on TikTok, and a comment came through. She made a video out of this. A comment came through saying, let's create our own Project 2026. Yeah, this is coming in from We Are All Connected's comment. Let's create our own Project 2026 and dream big. Kind of like I'm beginning to show us a little bit of a blueprint here. Dream big. A matriarchal, child-centric, and inclusive society with thriving third spaces, empowered mutual aid networks, community gardens, walkable neighborhoods, ... So, folks, where we are losing in one hand, I believe if we think creatively and a little bit outside of the box and take that motive of community, grassroots, technology, humanitarianism, working together in collectives, I think we can recreate our society in a whole other way that we hadn't even dreamed of. And this type of thing that I am seeing, this is what was channeled out 25 years ago when I first woke up, when I first had my psychic reading and started listening to channels. These were the types of things that were being talked about that would happen. Like as things crumbled, we would recreate society in a new way. And I don't think it's going to happen years down the road. It's happening now. And so what we can do is pay attention and lean in where it's right for us and when it's right for us and talk about it. Keep it on the airwaves, because this type of thing, this is what's going to keep us afloat. This is what's going to keep us going. This is the hope that will move us in a direction so that we can recreate our lives in a whole new way that maybe we hadn't even dreamed of. So, gonna leave that with you for now. Whatever you're seeing out there, I would love to see it in the comments. Let's kind of have a brainstorming session and just see what we can come up with, see what's out there. Keep the dream alive. Okay, I will see you in the next video.